Here in East Texas, every story matters, and Right Team Services is here to help you tell yours. From grant writing for local schools and nonprofits to social media, press releases, and website content for small businesses, we're proud to serve the people and communities right here at home. Clear, professional, effective. If you've got something to say, we'll help you say it right. Right Team Services, serving East Texas one story at a time. Well, happy Monday, April 6th of 2026. This is from the Press Box on the Right Team podcast. We are coming to you once again from deep in the piney woods of East Texas. I am David Weaver, host of the Right Team podcast. And as always, I have my friend and co-host, the sports director of KMHT 103.9 FM, the heartbeat of East Texas. He's also the pastor of Friendship Baptist Church in Marshall, Texas, Brother Matt Paul, who's also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It's kind of a surreal one because kind of coming out of that Easter fog after last week. Great day yesterday, but yeah, I don't have much planned on the docket for today after the week we just had.
Have you ever had your birthday fall on Easter?
If I have, it's prior to what I remember. Of the birthdays I can remember, I've had it on Good Friday. I've had it the day before Easter. Obviously, I've had it the day after Easter. Can't remember ever having it on Easter, but it might have happened before I can remember.
You know, we always hear people that have a birthday on Christmas, right? And they always feel a little bit cheated. I mean, my second oldest daughter was born on the 27th of December. I think that's right. And so she's kind of a Christmas baby too. So we've had to manage that. So it's just kind of interesting here around Easter time. But anyway, happy birthday to Matt today. I'm not going to tell you how old he is, but let's just say he's younger than I am by quite a bit. And I'm jealous of that. But anyway, wanted to get right into the show here very quickly here today. Of course, the big thing on the docket on this Monday is it's NCAA Championship Monday. We had Final Four Saturday, the day before Easter. And so today is the men's championship. And Matt, are you surprised? Is this kind of where you were leaning as this bracket played out? Where do you think about this matchup between Michigan and UConn?
Well, I picked, Andrew and I both actually picked Michigan from the right off the rip. I go big on analytics, and they are an analytical anomaly as far as how good they've been this year. And never was that on fuller display because I feel like easily the second most analytical anomaly this year was Arizona, and they didn't belong on the court with them. And Michigan's best player went out with an injury, and they still didn't belong on the court with them, which surprised me. I'm not at all surprised that Michigan won that game. Obviously, I picked them to win it all, but I didn't see it happening like that. Michigan has found a formula. Those two big dudes, Morez Johnson and Mara, I mean, they're a real problem. And you throw them on a front line with Lindenborg when he's healthy. Elliot Cadeau at the guard, their depth. If Connecticut wins this, which kudos to Dan Hurley in Connecticut, I'm not going to lie. I felt like Illinois couldn't throw it in the ocean for good chunks of that game. I felt like Illinois even had some rolls that I'm like, how does that ball not go in? That ball touched every moment, every portion of the rim. And then Connecticut's like getting rolls and banking in. It felt like one of those games where it just was clicking for one team and not for another. Not saying that to take anything away from Connecticut. I mean, you're in the Final Four, you earned your spot, and you took care of business. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Connecticut beats Michigan tonight, Dan Hurley's got to be in conversation for best coach ever, because this is a mountain that they're facing. And you may say, well, Michigan's guy may be hurt. Well, UConn's best guy may be hurt too, solo ball. So, which that's another story and another angle and a bummer that the two best players on each team might be hurt for this game tonight. But, well, I tell you, Michigan just looks scary right now. I don't know.
Michigan looked like a decent NBA team.
They did.
I mean,
they did.
They were so much better than Arizona. And of course, I picked Arizona to win it all, primarily because of my respect for the Big 12 and what they did in the Big 12. And they didn't belong on the same floor. I mean, the difference between those two teams, particularly, well, the start of the game kind of gave us an indication. Arizona makes a little run there, halfway through toward the end of the first half. And then second half, I mean, Michigan flexed their muscle. It was over. I mean, it was over. And, we talked last week about how that we thought that was the de facto national championship game. I did not realize this until Saturday. Michigan has not scored less than 90 points in any tournament game this year.
Yeah.
I don't know that we fully understand how impressive that is in an NCAA tournament run to score 90 every night against some of the teams they faced, right? I mean, they've played Alabama, Tennessee, and Arizona, and they've almost got triple digits on every single one of those teams. Kind of reminds me a little bit. I don't know if you'll remember this. You may be too young, but remember the early 90s UNLV teams, the one that kind of brought Duke back onto the, where the Duke upset them in the championship. I can't remember the exact year with Larry Johnson and all those guys, right?
Yeah.
Kind of has the same feel going into this, a little bit, of someone who just is on a roll and appears unbeatable. But then you got on the other side, perhaps, as you said, certainly in the conversation, and it's probably a short conversation if he's the best coach in America right now.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a slam dunk to say that if it just weren't the fact that he was such a psycho. Right? I mean, you never know. He is so cringy to watch that you can't look away. It's one of those kinds of things. And but I think most maniacal geniuses are kind of that way. And he has certainly stamped his claim, I guess you could say, to that title. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't know that there's one better. I mean, obviously, I feel like we may have to start having this conversation about Dusty May, depending on how it goes tonight. If you've taken Florida Atlantic to a Final Four and then won a national title your second year with Michigan, that's really impressive. But Hurley trying to this is his third national title game appearance in 4 years. He's trying to win his third title in the last 4 years. It's very, very impressive, albeit over a short period of time. Anxious to see how this continues to unfold, but obviously he's in a basketball hotbed with Connecticut. If you're listing the most impressive championship programs in men's college basketball throughout history, you're not going to get very far down that list before you're going to hit Connecticut. So, but it really is like it's one of these deals. There's kind of a, what is it they say? The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. I mean, Michigan, it seems like an unstoppable force right now. I don't know, but Connecticut gets here. They don't lose. They don't lose here. They're going to be tough to be moved. It's interesting. This is Michigan's 7th Final Four. They have made the championship in all 7 of them. They don't lose in the semifinals, but only once have they won the title. I remember distinctly watching it in 1989 against Seton Hall because there were tornado warnings in Little Rock. My birthday was going to be the next day, and I remember 11-year-old Matt is sitting here watching like, this game's great. I hope the power doesn't go out. I think it went to overtime. Also, am I going to die tonight? It was kind of a crazy night. And of course, in that whole thought process, my whole process wasn't, am I going to die, but is it going to ruin my birthday? That's kind of how 11-year-olds think. But anyway, I think it has potential to be high drama because of all that history. But I'm just going to tell you, on paper, I have a hard time seeing Michigan losing this game tonight. But games aren't played on paper, so we'll see.
I was going to ask you to give your pick. I think you just did that.
Yeah,
and I agree with
I
you.
picked Michigan to win it all.
I'm not going to be the one to sit here and suddenly pick against Michigan with the role they've been on really all season long. It's been very impressive. And as good as Dan Hurley is, probably the only thing right now that I would say separates him from Dusty May is the 2 rings already.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's already proven he can do it. Tonight is Dusty May's opportunity to show that as well. So I'm going to go with Michigan. I know you are too. But I would not put it past UConn and that crazy guy they got over there running the ship to figure this out and pull off I don't even know if I could call it an upset just because it's UConn. They've earned that respect, but they are the underdog going into this one. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, it's a 6.5 point favorite, which is pretty big for a national title game. I will say Connecticut's path has been tougher, which a 2 seed, it should be tougher than a 1 seed, but the wins over UCLA and Cronin, Michigan State and Izzo, Duke and Shire, and then beating a really good Illinois team in the Final Four with Brad Underwood. I mean, that's you went through a gauntlet, and that's why I say if they beat Michigan, that might be the most impressive tourney run of my lifetime, which is something is saying something.
Okay, before we leave the men's side and go to the women, of course, the other big news in men's college basketball from really the last couple of weeks is the big opening at North Carolina. 2 of these Final Four coaches have already gone on record as saying they are not interested. They will be staying where they are. That, of course, is Tommy Lloyd at Arizona and then Dusty May at Michigan. So with them off the board, I went and looked at the odds of who is going to be the next coach at North Carolina, Matt. And as of this morning, the College Basketball Report on Twitter has Billy Donovan at 47%. And then kind of surprising to me, I had not heard his name yet, but Scott Drew of Baylor is number 2 at 19%. And then they got other groups on here, Mark Byington, Ben McCollum, Grant McCaslin, and TJ Otzelberger rounded out. But that's kind of interesting to me. But it does appear now that these 2 big names, and who knows, I mean, there's probably other names out there that we don't know about maybe that UNC's looking at, but right now the odds are in the clubhouse that Billy Donovan will be your next North Carolina coach.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since he's been in college, but when he was there, he was right up there with the best of the best. So we will certainly see how that goes. Boy, it's interesting. The blue blood getting told no by some of these is very interesting. If it's not Donovan, I mean, Donovan's still a big enough splash for North Carolina. I think that would appease everybody, at least before we see how it goes. If it's not Donovan, they're maybe making a reach for somebody that is going to be tough to sell, but we'll see.
Let's move on to the women's Final Four, of course, which their national championship was played on Sunday. A little bit of a surprise coming out of this. And we, again, last week going into this, Matt, you and I both had said we thought that all 4 of these teams, of course, had the ability and the opportunity to win this national championship. But I got to admit, of the 4, probably UCLA was my number 4.
Yeah.
But they not only did they win the national championship, they destroyed South Carolina yesterday. I don't know if you saw any of that game, but as much as Michigan was heads and shoulders above Arizona in the men's game Saturday night, this women's final was like that with UCLA and South Carolina. Very surprising.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm a big believer in when you're making a pick, go with history until someone proves otherwise. And I mean, look at these programs, Connecticut, South Carolina, and Texas. Historically, those 3 far exceed the history of UCLA's women's program. They do. And so that was why I was in agreement that I would have UCLA 4th. But the more I watched, and I watched a lot of the 2 Final Four games on Friday, Sunday I watched until I was like, this one's done, and I wanted to go watch something else. UCLA was the best team out there. They had the guards that could control the game. They had the bigs that the other teams could not match up with. They just had, they were the best team, and they showed it. Lauren Betts, really, really impressive. When in a game against Texas, when they seemed to kind of have that in control, and then Texas is making their last ditch effort. It was Betts who made the plays on both ends of the court that kind of put that one to rest. And then, when I say this, UCLA was better than South Carolina. I don't think there's any doubt about it, but kind of felt like South Carolina emotionally just had a hard time finding the energy to get back up for Sunday after what they did Friday. That's kind of what I felt like.
Yeah, that's a good take on that. Speaking of what they did Friday, and you and I have kind of enjoyed, I think, our episode, which we did several weeks ago before the tournament even started, about UConn. And we were debating whether they were I believe the words were stone cold lock for this thing, right? The way they were playing, and defending champs and undefeated and all that. And I mean, our little podcast got a lot of mileage on that. I'm not going to lie to you, right?
Yeah.
And we drew in a lot of, I'm assuming, UConn fans from everywhere. But as it turns out, of course, they weren't the stone cold lock that we thought they might be. They ran into a buzzsaw. I think that was a terrible matchup for them, and they didn't play very well Friday night. But the thing that unfortunately comes away from that is the coach's behavior coming out of that was very bizarre. And of course, he apologized on Saturday, but Gino Auriemma had a meltdown Friday night, and that's not a good look for him. When you agree to that, the way all that went down?
I mean, if anybody can get away with it, it's him. It wasn't a good look. And I want to go, like, I want to be clear. I don't condone that sort of behavior. I mean, he was frustrated with some things. Some of it was his team. Some of it was the officials, who I'm going to talk about here in just a moment, on Friday night in both games. But, and he's come out and apologized. The coach of his stature and his tenure should handle it better. There are ways you can address it without doing it like that. Especially, I felt like it just took away from what South Carolina did. And it's not like, I mean, South Carolina's won 3 titles in the last 10 years. It's not like, oh, how in the world did you lose to Please? Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised South Carolina won that game. I would have picked Connecticut, but I'm not surprised South Carolina won that game. But I had a real problem with the officials Friday night in both games, not favoring one team over the other. I'm sure Gino might think they did, but I'll be careful how I say this. I love watching women's basketball. I find men's basketball more entertaining than women's basketball, just because of certain aspects of it.
It's a different game.
It's a different game. Now, when Caitlin Clark was making her run with Iowa, and she was the poster child for it, but there were other pieces on other teams that were so good. There was an air about women's basketball that all of a sudden, I mean, like, I was shifting from, I will watch this if it's on because it's quality sports and I like sports, to I'm going to carve out time to watch this because I really want to, and I want to see what's going to happen. And I felt like that was really good for the women's game, really good for women's basketball, all the way up to her playing in the WNBA right now. And here we are with 4 number 1 seeds making it, and it's a repeat Final Four. And I felt like the officials just let them beat the tar out of each other all night. I mean, at one point, my wife and I are watching the UCLA Texas game. David, it's almost the end of the third quarter. Neither team has scored 30 points. And I can already hear the people, oh, this is women's basketball and this is YU, which I think is ridiculous. But they flashed up a graphic that the teams had combined shot 2 free throws in that game at that point. So what happened was the officials let them play, which has a different impact in the women's game than it does in the men's game. It just does. They let them play, which meant, and I saw it with South Carolina and Connecticut. I saw it with UCLA and Texas. They let grabbing, clawing, shoving. They just let it all happen both ways. And you got a really ugly product. And you had low scoring games that were just like, what am I watching? And I think women's basketball has moved beyond some of those stereotypes, but I felt like the officials just brought all those stereotypes back up to the surface, not because the women were playing poorly, but because of what it turned into. The UCLA coach leading the game in the third quarter, they interview her and she's apologizing to her fans because this is a rugby match and we're just trying to hold on as best we can. That's not basketball, and that's on the officials for not taking control of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I want to be careful here too, because we have to be, right. I mean, we're not trying to demean the women's game at all.
No,
it's an exciting product when it's done right, but it is a different game, and I don't want to say you can't allow physical play in a sporting event like basketball, because we have talked about how basketball can be a violent sport, particularly under the basket and in the paint.
Yeah.
That's where it's supposed to be to a certain extent. But the men's game, you don't like to see that get out of hand in a men's game either.
No, I don't like it.
It becomes a shoving match and a, for lack of a better, it's just a fist fight down there. But when it happens in the women's game, because of the way the game is played, when it's done right, it's a bad product. It really is. And I'm being careful here because some of the best moments of my career have been spent covering and following and working with women's basketball.
Yeah.
It can be a very beautiful sport when it's done right. And there's some great players out there. You mentioned Caitlin Clark. I mean, we can go down the list, right?
Yeah.
But that one was probably the epitome of how bad it can be if the officials don't take control of the game. And it's very easy to take control of the game. You start putting people at the free throw line, which in and of itself, if it happens too much, then, obviously that can slow the game down as well.
Sure.
And it becomes, a free throw shooting contest. So there's a fine balance to walk there. This one went way over the other side. And I heard the interview with the UCLA coach, and I understood where she was coming from, but it was going both ways, right? As
well, and said, I think
there was a combined
she was
two
saying
free
that. Yeah, I mean,
right.
they were ahead at the time. Like, I don't think she felt like Gino may have
right.
felt like his team was being unfairly treated. I don't think she
right.
felt like her team was. It was just it shouldn't have devolved into that. And that's what kind of bugged me, because I know people are going to watch men's basketball regardless of what the product looks like. Women's basketball has just historically a lot to overcome. And I feel like they've made huge strides, and it really stinks when the adults in the room don't take care of their end of the bargain to make the product look like what it should. Because when two teams are at the end of the third quarter and they've shot a combined 2 free throws, you haven't been paying attention as an official, because as you said,
right.
basketball is a physical game.
Right. It is a physical game, but the women's game, while being physical, also has an allure to it that if you mess with it, it takes away, what makes the game great.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get away with that probably a little more on the men's side. But it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have the right appeal to watch in a, national semifinal, particularly when it looks like that. I mean, it got out of hand Friday night. I would agree with that 100%. And again, here just to close out the women's side, again, congratulations to UCLA on that. But it was their first title in program history, which kind of surprises me a little bit, UCLA. But man, my Horns let one get away again. My Lady Horns, that was a very winnable game for them. And obviously UCLA goes on and wins it all. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I thought pound for pound, when we talked about it a little bit on last week's podcast, that I was a little bit nervous going into this one just because of that whole, they're a really good team, man, and it's tough to beat a really good team like that twice in 1 year. You have to be really, really good to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
And it kind of got down to that, but yeah, and you know, the officiating kind of, I don't know, made that game probably not the kind of game that it could have been. I wish they just kind of let them play in the other way. I'm like, hey, let's call this one, but let them play basketball. And it did get a little too physical. But man, I felt like Texas, and it's going to sound like sour grapes to say this, but I don't really know any other way to say it. Probably had the better team, and they let one get away. I mean, they let one get away from them, and that's, as much as I love Vic Schaefer, he's kind of got this gorilla on his back now.
Yeah,
he can't kick in that final door to get into the championship game, and this is two years in a row now, and I really know this affected him because he thought this was his best team he's ever had, and he let one get away, man. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, basketball comes down to making shots. They couldn't make a shot.
Oh gosh, it was brutal to watch, man. They were Madison Booker, arguably his best player, probably overall, has to go spend time on the bench because she literally could not score a bucket.
Yeah.
And at some point, even the best players, that's got to get in your head a little bit. But I'm going to end it on a positive note. There's help on the way to my fellow Texas fans out there who are hurting in women's basketball. #1 recruiting class in the country coming in with 4 5-stars. And listen to the height of these. Now, these, you consider a 6-foot women's basketball player to be probably equal to a 7-footer in the men's game, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Texas has 2 6'3", and I believe 3 actually. I've only got 1 on this list, or 2 on this list. I believe there's 3 6'2" or more coming in their recruiting class coming up, and they're all 5-stars. 4 5-stars coming in, along with several 4-stars. So I don't want to run down the names here because I don't. Yeah. I'm looking at this one now, and some of them are guards. I mean, imagine that in the women's game, Matt. When you've got 6-foot guards, you know, running your team, that's going to be a different looking team. Along with the return of Madison Booker, who just had an off night. I mean, she just did the other night, and it happens. It's unfortunate that it happens on that stage, but the Horns are going to be back. But man, you can't ever get away. This one's going to sting a while if you're on that club, particularly in that coaching office. I know Vic's got this one, and he pretty much said this one got away from him, and this was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it was there.
At Stiles Electric, we believe in doing the job right every single time. Since 1999, we've built a reputation for being reliable, professional, and experienced across commercial projects throughout East Texas. And right now, we're growing. If you're an electrician or looking to start a career in the electrical trade, we want to hear from you. At Stiles Electric, you're not just another employee, you're part of a team that takes pride in its work and its people. Join a company where service speaks for itself. Apply today and power your future with Stiles Electric.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about briefly here Major League Baseball, particularly the Texas Rangers. Had a rough weekend over the weekend, of course, not a good home opening weekend for the Rangers. And the troubling thing about this is, and I'm kind of having PTSD a little bit about from last year to this year. Skip Schumacher in his post-game press conference, which I'm going to play here in just a second, was wanting to hear none of it about the offensive struggles here at home compared to last year. Don't necessarily blame him for that. Kind of wasn't his mess last year. He's moved on to this year, obviously, his first season. So, but it was just kind of interesting that he had to address it already, and we're barely a week into the season. A lot of what plagued this team last year has shown up already at home. There's something about Globe Life Field that I can't figure out, and I don't think the Rangers know anyone in their organization can figure that out. As to why the ball just doesn't seem to carry. Kind of thought it might change a little bit on Sunday with the roof open, but there was a breeze blowing through there that obviously affected it as well. But the Rangers scored 4 runs on the weekend in 3 games. Got shut out Saturday and only got 1 run on a home run, and Sunday's loss to the Reds. And I'm a little concerned that we've just kind of shuffled the deck chairs on the Titanic, and we're not the same. We're the same team offensively that we were in 2025, which had historic levels of futility on offense for this franchise. So I'm concerned with some of these performances. Again, I want to caution everyone, including myself. Okay, and I was trying to tell myself this yesterday when this sweep was going down, that we're 9 games in. So it is what it is. 9 games in, not a huge sample size for a baseball team. But here's the averages right now of the starting lineup, pretty much the recognized starting lineup for the Rangers. You have 2 players, Brandon Nimmo and Jake Berger, who are hitting 324 better. Jake Berger's at 324, although he's a strikeout machine. He's gotten off to a decent start, which you want from your cleanup hitter. Brandon Nimmo's been everything as good as advertised in the leadoff spot, batting 389 on the season through yesterday on Sunday. But then we look at some of these batting averages, and man, this isn't going to cut it if we're hoping and expecting the Rangers to be a playoff team again. Wyatt Langford is batting 150. I don't have time to really go into some of my concerns with him right now. I'm just kind of leaning on the fact that it's just a slow start. He had a good spring, but 150 is not going to cut it from a guy batting in the 2-hole who's supposed to be an MVP candidate. Corey Seager, after a really hot start on the road, had a terrible homestand. He dropped to 235. Jock Peterson has been much publicized. Finally got his first hit Sunday. It was the home run, the only run that the Rangers scored, and that got him to a .059 on the season. And the jury is not just out on him. I think that's a wash. That's just a matter of time before the Rangers are going to have to make a move with Jock Peterson. Josh Smith, being put into full-time starter role for the first time at second base, has not responded well. He is off to a bad start. He's batting 115 on the year. Josh Young actually has shown some signs of kind of growing out of this a little bit. Still got some holes in his swing, man. But if you meet his bat, he still has proven that he can hurt you. He's only hitting 138, but compared to where he was late in the road trip last week, that's actually an improvement. Evan Carter, I think, is doing okay. I think they've got him in the perfect spot for him right now at 269. But he has so many uncompetitive bats against left-handers. I don't know how we can continue to put him in against lefties and let him hit. I believe it was Saturday, I can't remember which game it was. They brought in a lefty to face him, and it was good morning, good afternoon, and good night. 3 pitches, not close, so uncompetitive, it was embarrassing. Maybe the most uncompetitive at-bat I'd ever seen at the major league level. The kid just simply cannot hit left-handed pitching. And you can continue to bang your head against the wall, or you can admit that and stop putting him in situations where he's going to fail. Again, early in the season, but at some point, Rangers are going to have to make that decision that Evan Carter cannot hit lefties and proceed accordingly to that. And then Danny Jansen batting in the 9 holes, the new catcher. He's batting 250. I'm a little surprised as to how many at-bats he's getting over Higashioka, who's been hitting the ball well, but he's only got a couple of starts to this point. So there's obviously a thing going on there with their catching situation, but right now, of course, they've seen Danny Jansen as their top-flight catcher. But anyway, all of those numbers add up to a bad offense right now through 9 games. And most years it wouldn't be a problem, but with the last couple of years that this team's coming off of, they don't have any room for error. I mean, they've not built any cushion for any of us fans to feel good about. Team batting average right now of 237. With just the Jock Peterson home run coming out of the weekend at home. So they only hit 1 home run on their opening home series. Not good to get swept at home by the Cincinnati Reds, who aren't really lighting it up offensively either. But if it's going to come down to this like it was last year where we get out pitched every night, I don't think this team can compete. I'm afraid of that. And that's really, really scary to think of as a fan who loves your team and loves baseball, to kind of feel hopeless. And I mean, we're just we're just now one day past Easter, right? So trying to keep it a little bit more positive in terms of just trying to stay engaged, but it's really hard to watch this team right now at the plate, and spent way too long last season trying to do that. And we'll see. Hopefully, it doesn't get any easier. They got the Mariners coming in tonight and for a 3-game series, and they hit 208 against them last year as a team. So got to find some solutions here pretty quickly, or it's going to be a really bad homestand. Not the way you wanted to start at home.
The college you choose plays a defining role in what you believe, how you think, and who you become. With over 45 undergraduate programs and 14 graduate programs, East Texas Baptist University offers a transformational, Christ-centered educational experience that challenges students in mind, body, and spirit. 99% of students attending ETBU receive some form of financial aid, making opportunity accessible and affordable at ETBU. Join the Tiger family. It's not too late. Apply today at etbu.edu/apply.
Let's go on now to the back page of today's podcast. And Matt, let's see what you've gathered for us here to talk about on today's back page.
Well, I'll make you mad again.
Thanks.
NBA.
I appreciate that coming off Easter, brother.
Yeah, it's NBA again. Cooper Flagg had himself a weekend, man. My goodness, 96 points in 2 games. I don't know if you saw this, the latest Rookie of the Year odds. He's now flipped to the favorite over Con Knippel from Charlotte, his former Duke teammate. Gosh, I don't know. It was and this is a whole kind of all tied in together. I bear no ill will, nor should we, toward Luka Doncic at all. It was not a trade he wanted. I hate what happened to him. Not because I'm a Laker fan. I just like Luka. I hate seeing that. You want to go into the playoffs with the best players all playing. I mean, that's what you want as a fan. And I read that he's going over to Europe. to seek care there and hoping to be ready as early as he can for the playoffs. It's just weird to me. Like it's one of these deals where I'm like, okay, I know Nico damaged the Mavs, but did he also damage Luka? And how freaky is it that the game that Luka first misses with this injury is a return trip to Dallas. And then, Cooper Flagg does what he does. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Dallas because Cooper Flagg's really, really good. I think he's everything you could have hoped he was going to be, which gives me hope moving forward. But I also know they made the worst trade in the history of the NBA. So I just don't know where I land on him.
I think I've reached the point as a Mavs fan that I do like the direction they're heading in. I hate the fact that they had to tank to get to this point. But you can never get over that trade. And I never will, and most Maverick fans never will, despite what Jason Kidd would like you to do. There's getting over something, and then there's moving on. I think for the most part, we've all moved on without getting over it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
We have to move on. I mean, it is what it is. He's not coming back. And I don't know. Well, let me rephrase that. I would love to have Luka back and still have Cooper Flagg, which would never happen. I saw that Luka injury, and I hate it. I hate it for him. He's got a lot going on in his life right now.
Really does.
And not being a Laker fan, it's easy to say this, but this may be the best thing for him personally, is to just kind of get away from the game for a while, catch his breath, get healthy, kind of work through some things going on in his personal life with his family, and maybe he'll be a better person because of it, because he's gotten this time off. Now, it's going to suck for the Lakers because they also lost Austin Reeves. And they're back now to leaning on basically their fortunes are tied to 41-year-old LeBron James, which, I mean, I guess there's a lot worse situations you could have to be able to say, well, we're leaning on a Hall of Famer and maybe, one of the top two players, certainly of all time. And he showed it last night in that game. I mean, he's still got a lot left in the tank, Matt. I mean, I'm not as big a LeBron fan as you are, but there's no denying the fact at 41 years old, he can still play ball. I mean, he may not be the top player in the NBA anymore, but I would certainly say he's, top 7 or 8 for sure, even at that age. So I don't know. That's going to be a weird deal because they're going to make the playoffs, and they may or may not have Luka and or Austin Reeves. I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, how far is LeBron going to be able to take them, right?
Yeah. And it's on the flip side, my other thing of note, I don't know if you saw any of this because it was streaming on Amazon, but Saturday afternoon before the men's Final Four started, I watched the bulk of San Antonio and Denver, Victor Wembanyama versus Nikola Jokic. David, it is one of the best basketball games I have seen in a long time. And let me tell you what Jokic did, because Wemby was great. The Spurs look good. They look so good. But Jokic, I mean, I played a fair amount of basketball. I'm 6'2". I've gone against some guys that were like 6'8", 6'9". I don't know what to do with them. I play inside. I can't, I'm all about positioning. I'm not a flashy ball handler. I can knock down a shot if you set me up. But like I play inside. Well, that negates my game, right? When you're 6'8", 6'9". Well, that's what Jokic was going against. A guy 6 or 7 inches taller than him. He was hitting degree of difficulty shots. I don't even know how he was getting the ball over Wemby's giant outstretched arm and wills his team to a victory over San Antonio. And right now it's trending to where Denver and San Antonio would meet in the second round. Woo, sign me up for that. I tell you, that game was phenomenal. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the NBA playoffs, of course, because mine right now is we're just trying to get draft position. I mean,
Sure.
that's obvious.
Sure.
But man, what Cooper did the last two games in particular may have sealed his rookie of the year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 96 points in two games. For a kid who wasn't supposed to be able to be that kind of a scorer, right? I mean, you kind of knew you were going to get the pretty good all-around player, but you weren't expecting to get this from Cooper Flagg in terms of his scoring ability.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the future for Dallas. It doesn't include the playoffs, unfortunately, right now, but maybe if we can add a guy like your guy from Arkansas, Darius Acuff, or if we even get lucky again, right, and maybe land a Debanza or someone like that. I mean, we're really off and running, man. We really are off and running with Kyrie coming back, and of course, hopefully Derek Lively can put together a season where he can at least stay on the court. So. Anyway, good stuff there with some NBA news. I did want to add here some local things here on my back page, just kind of following some local kids here that have caught my attention. So I don't know if you remember a kid, but he's a former Longview Lobo baseball player, Connor Cox. And folks in Marshall will know Connor Cox. He's the grandson of former school board member Walter Floyd, who I've known basically my entire life. Really good friends with Walter. But anyway, his grandson is at St. Edward's University. And over the weekend, Matt, he became the all-time RBI leader at St. Edward's, which is a Lone Star Division II school, Lone Star Conference. But this season, Matt, he's hitting for his career. He's batting .381 for his career. He's got 19 home runs with 128 RBIs. This part of the season, he's already got 46 RBIs on the year. So anyway, a big left-handed hitting kid. I believe he plays first base, or he did for Longview. But I mean, the kind of numbers he's putting up at St. Edward's are impressive. I mean, I would think maybe getting some scouting looks as far as drafting. The numbers certainly are there. So anyway, congratulations to Connor Cox and his family here. Former Longview Lobo, who is tearing it up down there at St. Edward's in just right outside Austin. We've talked about Justin Slayton before from Hallsville. I just wanted to give everyone an update on Justin. Red Sox are struggling right now. I don't know if you've been following them. But Justin last pitch on Saturday night in a 3-2 loss against San Diego. And he went one inning and gave up a hit and struck out. He has not allowed a run yet in three and a third innings so far in 4 appearances. But he's pitching in a lot of high leverage type situations there for the Red Sox. They're just not having a whole lot of success team wise. I think they're 2-7 as of yesterday. Not off to the kind of start you would want, which hey, what am I to say about good starts, right? And then another kid from Hallsville I wanted to follow and keep people up here on was Ethan Miller. I don't know, folks around here would probably remember Ethan. He played quarterback for the Bobcats in his senior year after having a all-district junior season at wide receiver. They moved him to quarterback his senior year, but he's a baseball player at Rich Mountain College in Arkansas. You know where that is? From up there in your neck of the woods?
Thereabouts. I'm familiar with it, yeah.
He's having a pretty good year for them. In 38 games played already, he's batting .317 with 5 home runs, 26 RBIs, and also 20 stolen bases on the year. So Ethan Miller's having an outstanding season. Former Hallsville Bobcat up there at Rich Mountain College. And I'm going to try to do that, Matt, here as we move forward in the spring, just kind of randomly pick some local kids here that are excelling at the next level and just make sure we're all kept up to date with those kids. So, but that was 3 here today I saw over the weekend that have been lighting it up pretty good at this point in the baseball season. Connor Cox, 46 RBIs, basically halfway through the year, maybe a little bit past the halfway point. That's pretty good, man. That's better than an RBI a game. Crazy. Okay, let's move on to our Today in Sports History segment here as we get ready to close out today's portion of From the Press Box on the Right Team podcast. By the way, just want everyone to know, Matt and I talked about earlier, we were talking about Final Four and everything. Of course, my backdrop today from the press box is none other than Lucas Oil Stadium, of course, where tonight's national championship game will be played. Still kind of odd to see football stadiums decked out into basketball arenas. Not necessarily a cozy place to watch basketball in a gym setting, but it is what it is for the Final Four. So Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, of course, is the site for tonight's national championship game. On to Today in Sports History. On this date in sports history, none other than 1903, Detroit Tigers Hall of Fame catcher Mickey Cochran was born in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. He was a two-time AL MVP. In his career with the Tigers, he passed away in 1962. 1951, Hall of Fame pitcher Bert Blyleven was born. So Bert Blyleven, most famously to me, had maybe the best Chris Berman nickname back in the day on ESPN when he was Bert Be Home by Blyleven. I can't even say it, but man, it was great when Berman said it. Anyway. Maybe one of the most devastating curveballs in baseball history, Bert Blyleven. He turned 75 years old today. Amazing career stat for him, and I didn't know this until I was putting this together for today. He was 15-9 in his career in 1-0 games. He won 15 1-0 games in his career for several teams and lost 9. A lot of tight games for Bert Blyleven, but he won 15 of those. That's kind of a crazy stat to me. Other birthdays on this date in 1965, NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver Sterling Sharp was born in Chicago, Illinois, I should say. Sterling Sharp, the older brother of Shannon Sharp, of course. Not quite as loud as his younger brother. Sterling anyway, turned 61 years old today. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year for the former Green Bay Packer. On this date in 1987, Sugar Ray Leonard upset Marvelous Marvin Hagler to win the middleweight boxing championship. Man, what a great rivalry those two boxers had back in the day, particularly in the 70s and 80s. But on April the 6th of 1987, Sugar Ray knocked off Marvelous Marvin Hagler to win that middleweight boxing championship. A couple of passing away notes here. Folks who have died on this date in the sports world. On April the 6th, 1997, former Washington Redskins, and I did not know this until I, again, did the research for this, Los Angeles Lakers owner at one time, Jack Kent Cooke, passed away at the age of 84. He had a lot to do, and I did not, again, doing this research is kind of why I do this. It's pretty interesting. He did own the Lakers, actually won an NBA title as the owner of the Lakers in 1972, was instrumental in the construction of the Fabulous Forum, the Lakers' home until, of course, the opening of the Staples Center, the Forum, of course, out there in L.A. Jack Kent Cooke had a big hand in that, and then, of course, went on to the NFL, bought the Washington Redskins, won 3 Super Bowls there in Washington, and the current Redskins Stadium that they're in now, when it was first built, actually bore his name. It was Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. So he passed away today at the age of 84. And then finally, in 2020, Tigers Hall of Fame outfielder Al Kaline, who was an 18-time All-Star, won 10 Gold Gloves as an outfielder there in Detroit. Well, he passed away on this date back in 2020 at the age of 85. That is our This Day in Sports History here on From the Press Box on the Right Team podcast for Monday, April 6th. I want to close it out here with a final word. And again, we started here recently, just found some really cool things. We just kind of take it from the athletes' words themselves and coaches and folks that make up the sports world, just some inspirational quotes that they've had recently. But this one here is very fitting on today, on it being National Championship Monday on the men's side in the NCAA basketball. To have Terrence Reed, who plays for UConn, who's playing for their 3rd national championship, of course, in 4 years tonight. Going to play this for him. He's going to provide our final word for us today. Okay, that was Terrence Reed, of course, of the University of Connecticut. Very mature young man. Very impressed with his demeanor in answering that question. See a lot of these on Easter weekend, which is great to see for Matt and I know as believers. And what he said is true. Jesus changes everything, man. Hopefully you had an opportunity, if you're listening to us, to witness that over Easter weekend. Hopefully Jesus has changed your life. If not, just know that he is life, and he can pull you up out of the depths. He can keep you going in the darkest times, and he certainly changed my life as well. So hopefully again on our podcast, you can see that as we talk about sports and other things in life, but Jesus is the key to it all. He's the key to it all. And I'm very encouraged to see, again, we've had a few of these college athletes. There seems to be a revival, kind of a wave happening across college campuses, and we need it. With everything our young people are facing in today's world and the future, it's good to see that some of them, a lot of them are finding a bit of a grounding in faith and belief in Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him. So congratulations to Terrence Reed. I really appreciate him standing up for his faith and answering that question in a very mature way there at UConn. Well, he's Matt, I'm David, and this is From the Press Box on the Right Team podcast. If you enjoy our show, be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube at The Right Team Podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook for additional content and updates you don't want to miss. We're just getting started, and we've got plenty more ahead with something for everyone, so stay tuned, subscribe, and don't miss an episode. Big thank you again, as always, to our sponsors of the show, Stiles Electric, East Texas Baptist University, and Right Team Services. Also want to send out appreciation for the support and thank our Right Team family of school districts at Elysian Fields, Karnack, and Hallsville here in East Texas, and then also to Smackover, Arkansas. Thank you guys for trusting Right Team Services to help you in your PR efforts in your communities. And for telling your story, and for also, of course, helping make all of this possible, what we do here on the podcast. Once again, thank you for listening and supporting us right here from the heart of the East Texas Piney Woods, from the Press Box on the Right Team podcast. Until next time, as always, keep writing your story.
At Elysian Fields ISD, we're more than just a school district. Tradition lives here, where pride, excellence, and community are passed down from one generation to the next. From the classroom to the competition floor, our students carry on a tradition of hard work, character, and success. And now, it's your opportunity to be a part of it. Elysian Fields ISD is currently accepting interdistrict transfers. Visit our website at www.efisd.net to learn more. Join the tradition. Experience the difference. Elysian Fields ISD, where our past carries our future. At Hallsville Independent School District, excellence isn't just a goal, it's our tradition. Home of the Bobcats, Hallsville ISD is known for championship caliber athletic programs and award-winning academics that set our students apart. From competition arenas to the classroom, Bobcats rise to the challenge, achieving at the highest levels and representing our community with pride. Hallsville ISD, where Bobcats are built to compete, achieve, and succeed. Nestled on the shores of beautiful Caddo Lake, Karnack ISD is where education feels like family. Serving students from pre-K through 8th grade, Karnack offers a close-knit environment where every child is known, supported, and inspired to succeed. Here, it's more than just a classroom. It's a community that takes pride in giving each student the attention they deserve. With strong values, caring educators, and a true family atmosphere, Karnack ISD is shaping bright futures every day. Learn more at www.karnackisd.org. Karnack ISD, where every student matters. Did you know that someone somewhere is talking about you? Yes, your school district, your business, your church, your nonprofit group is always the subject of a conversation somewhere. Maybe it's Facebook gossip, maybe it's talk around the water cooler, maybe it's written in a newspaper or a blog somewhere. At Right Team Services, we work with you to manage that conversation more effectively, to give all of your stakeholders an opportunity to hear your message. We help you create a culture of transparency in your organization that makes your customers and stakeholders feel comfortable as part of the story, and as a result, will help your business or school district become a more effective, trusted member of your community. Contact me today at rightteamservices@gmail.com to learn more about how Right Team can help you tell your story.